For the Lord gives wisdom, from his mouth comes knowledge and understanding. This nation was built on truth, and truth still matters. Welcome to the Miles Runcutter podcast. Here, faith guides politics, and conviction leads to conversation. I'm Miles, and here we stand firm, speak boldly, and seek what's right, no matter the cost. Let's get started. Welcome back. Today I have Mr. Donovan Bradley. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. My name is Donovan Bradley. I'm a proud Jacksonville native and candidate for Duval County School Board District 2. Currently represented by April Carney, and I'm excited to be on today and talk about my platform. So let's get started, man. I'm happy to be here.
That's amazing. I'm glad to have you here.
Absolutely.
So when it comes to experience, we'll start there. What is your experience in schools and in education? Why would you fulfill that role?
I appreciate the question. That's certainly an important one. So a little bit about me. I'm the oldest of three. My mom, single mom, she's a school teacher. She taught here at Alamocani Elementary. She's been with DCPS for about 30 years. And growing up, before and after school, I used to go to her class, help out with her students. My mom specifically, she teaches blended classes. So half the kids in her class are special needs, half are general ed. And it was really rewarding for me to be able to work with some of those students and just really see how they progress and how an amazing teacher in the classroom can really make all the difference for the child. So that was always really important. But in my adult life, I really got the bug for public policy. And when I graduated from college here at UNF, I moved to Tallahassee, was a legislative aide for a couple of our state representatives here. And I think that I can bring that experience doubled with my experience being a product of the Duval County School District and really make some changes for the students and the parents here.
That's great. I love that. And when it comes specifically, when you talked about special education, working with your mom, we find issues in what we have in the special education system. I went to a school that was for special education. I went there for 2 years, and it was a complete disaster. It was for students with dyslexia, which isn't as comprehensive as students who would have autism or Down syndrome and those kind of disabilities, but it was a learning disability.
Right.
And I think it's important that we focus on those students because they can't be forgotten. And I'm wondering, how could you help with that?
Well, I think the big thing is to have a conversation about, why programs like the blended VPK units and stuff like that are important. From my experience, it's good to kind of treat everybody as equal, and just because you have a disability or you're a little behind doesn't mean that you shouldn't have the fair experience and opportunities as everybody else. So having students that are being able to compete, especially the students that are high functioning, no matter their ability or disability, having them to have the same opportunities and the same learning environment as everybody else, I think is a really good place to start with that.
That's good. That's good. So would that imply more programs like that, more in the schools, or could that come down to schools separate from the schools we already have?
I think you could do either one. I think it's good to have choice. I think it's certainly good to have programs like we have in DCPS where students can mingle and be together regardless of their status. But I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to having separate facilities or one-on-one time. I think depending on how severe the circumstances or the child.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it depends, but
so it's different for every single student.
I think it has to be a case-by-case basis. I don't think just it's a one-size-fits-all approach for sure.
So when it comes to that case-by-case basis, what would you say about like the charter schools and school choice?
Well, I think school choice is great, absolutely. And if you don't mind, I love this question.
Yeah.
So growing up, Florida was not a pro-school choice state, or at least it wasn't to the degree it is now.
Yeah.
And I actually grew up in Sandalwood, but attended schools at the beach. Like I said, my mom was a teacher, and we had this program called Special Assignment. And the way that worked is if you were an employee in the school district, you could send your child to the school that you teach at or the school closest to you. So even though I lived in a neighborhood that wasn't the greatest, obviously it's changed now, but wasn't the greatest back then, I was able to attend some of the most high-performing schools in the district because of this special assignment program.
That's amazing.
Which today we would call that school choice. The state has expanded that, and even if you're going from one traditional public school to another, that's still school choice. So having parents have that option for their children, whether it's inter-public school or charter school, private school, homeschool, I think that we as a state, we as a district need to make sure that parents have that option regardless of what they choose.
So, and I agree with you on that because I love the option. I go an hour to school every day because
Do
the
you
school
really?
that I go to is such a great school, and the one in our area is horrendous. But do you think, like, what would be a way to encourage that? Because I know we already have it, but is there anything else that needs to be changed to help with that?
Help with school choice?
Yeah, like for example, like bus routes. Would that be an example of something that would need fixing?
Well,
Or do you think that that's already resolved?
I think it depends. I think certainly there's circumstances where bus routes can be updated, and that's certainly something that I'll look at. I don't believe that, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe that charter schools have buses. I believe that is up to the parents, the parents sending their child.
so.
Yeah. I could be wrong, but I'll double check on that. Yeah, I mean, I certainly think that's something we can look at.
Yeah.
I think promoting it as much as possible, letting parents know that these options are out there. If you want to send your child to a charter school, you can. Obviously, our public schools are great, and I'm running to represent the public school district, so very proud of that. But yeah, just definitely letting parents know that hey, these options are out there, and I think the money should follow the child. A lot of people agree with that, and so yeah, I think the state's done a good job of that, and just ensuring that we have a school board locally in a district that will excel and propel that is a good place.
That's
good place
good,
to start.
yeah. So on the topic of like charter schools and school choice, you also have going into higher education when it comes to school choice. So when you talked about technical education, what is your idea?
Yeah, so that's one of my big policy points for this campaign is an expansion of career and technical education. Now, what I think when it comes to that is high school juniors and seniors, particularly here in Duval County, high schools and juniors and seniors, if they want to do what's similar to what the colleges do, like an internship program or something outside of school, like off campus, they work a part-time job or they're interning for an organization that they'd like to work for post-graduation, I think that they should be able to get credit for that in the classroom. So, there's a lot of different organizations that we can partner with here locally and have children, or students, I should say, students that want to take those extracurriculars and get credit outside the classroom, but have it count towards them. That the district has done a good job of expanding that career and technical education, that internship thing that I'm talking about was not available when I was a student at Fletcher. But I think definitely expanding on that with as much gravitas as we can is definitely a top priority for me.
That's very interesting because my school, we have the ViStar
Sure.
branch, which is really, really cool program. And they have like a little mock bank inside the building. So is that similar to what you're talking about, being like inside of the school? But in addition to that, those students who are part of that program
Sure.
also work outside of the school.
Absolutely, yeah. So you can have on-campus options, but there are some off-campus options too that I think would be good. And like specifically Jacksport, like if we have students that are graduating from high school here in Jacksonville and they want to go work in that line of work, like having Jacksport here is a great opportunity for them to get that hands-on experience that will help them once they graduate.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's not talked about enough. And last I checked, around 40% of the students that graduate from DCPS do not go to higher education. They choose to do a trade or go in the military or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just think that we should do a much better job of like channeling that instead of just pushing college. Obviously, I value higher education.
Absolutely.
I went to college, and it's a great option, but it shouldn't be the only option.
I think I completely agree with you. And I think a lot of people are afraid that we have our college preparatory schools.
Yeah.
And they're afraid that when you have people who are going in and saying, for those who want to go into this area, that they're being channeled away from that, and it's taking away funding and resources from the college preparatory schools. Do you think that should be of concern?
I think that the money should follow the child. Like I said, it depends. It depends on what the school is offering, and as a district, each individual board member and the district as a whole should do a good job of letting parents know what each school in our district offers.
Yeah.
Like for instance, Sandalwood, great example. They have a really good ROTC program. I believe it's Air Force. Fletcher doesn't have that, but Fletcher has the ACE program, which Sandalwood does not. Now they have the early college program. So it's a matter of letting parents know which school has which program that will suit them best.
Yeah.
But if we promote that well, we sell the school well, that will help boost enrollment, which then boosts the funding that goes to our schools, and that all helps.
That's awesome. And when it comes to to that, I want to ask about something very specific.
Sure.
And if you don't have an answer to this, I'm not going to hold it against you because it's not
Sure, go ahead.
super big thing.
We'll give it a try.
But it's the academic acceleration options supplement, if I'm saying that correctly.
Academic accelerations option.
Yes. So
Okay.
DCPS lost $3.2 million from this, $871 per student, and $546.8 million statewide. Now, this isn't something that you can directly affect, but it does affect AP, IB, and ACE, as well as dual enrollment.
Sure.
So it's not something the school board could necessarily advocate for, but it's something that
It's
you
a
guys
state
could,
level. State
yeah,
level
state
thing.
level. But the stance is important. So do you think that, like, that's for funding for the programs themselves?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I'll be honest with you, I'm not totally familiar with that, but I
Yeah.
will take a look at it, and I'm
Mhm.
glad that we're having
Absolutely.
this conversation and you brought that up. But I'll take a look at that. To that point, I will say there's a few things that have been presented to me so far throughout this campaign that are not in the direct capacity of the school board's control, right?
Yeah.
So, but that's why having a school board member that understands policy, understands the way that the state government operates and the local government operates is so beneficial, because there's other issues that have been raised, like class sizes. That's something that's set at the state level.
Mhm.
But if you send a school board member to represent you that has connections in Tallahassee, that will be able to move the needle and work with our legislators rather, to get policy enacted that benefits the people back home, then I think that's who we should be looking to elect.
Absolutely.
And I certainly bring that experience, and looking forward to hopefully getting the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I think that that's very important that that's being acknowledged. Because, of course, there are things that you can't change, but it affects our students.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you're able to sit there and advocate for those things at the state level, you're able to change so many things that you wouldn't be able to do otherwise.
Well, yeah, you have to. And I got to say, I've been in this world, the public policy world, for a while, and I've learned that it's a lot of relationship building, This is a game of addition, not a game of subtraction. You should always be looking to bring people into your network to help move the needle forward, because that's really what it's about. I mean, we're all living in this world together, and we all want what's best for, in this case, our students and our parents and teachers. So anything I can do to help push policy at the state level that will benefit our district, I certainly will.
That's good. That's good. And shifting to like inside the classroom.
Sure.
When it comes to like woke ideology, how will we combat that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I got to say, I think that the current board has done a really good job of nipping it in the bud. I know under previous boards, previous superintendents, things got a little wonky. I don't believe we should have that at all. I don't believe that there should be any policies on the book that, one, take options away from women. And what I mean by that is having boys compete in women's sports.
Absolutely.
That should not be happening, and it's legal in Florida, so if it is happening, we need to know about it. And then the other thing is, I have heard a lot of people try to put folks like me that are minorities or disadvantaged in any kind of way in a box and say, well, you don't have as many opportunities presented to you because of the color of your skin, or because your gender, or because of this or that. No, that's ridiculous. Everybody has a chance to succeed in this country, and I tell you what, if I'm elected, I'm going to do a good job of combating that narrative, because I want students to know, don't listen to the rhetoric, don't listen to the politics. Everybody has the opportunity to succeed, and I'm going to help you get there.
I think that's awesome. I think it's actually inspiring because it shows that you're capable, not through DEI, but capable through the content of your character.
Well, that's right, yeah. And DEI is so detrimental because you're doing away with merit. You're selecting people for positions or for jobs or whatever based solely on the color of their skin. Okay, well, just because you're black or Hispanic or white doesn't mean you're the most qualified person. No, I want the person that's most qualified. If I have open heart surgery, I don't care what color the person operating on me is or what their gender is. I care that they can do the best job.
Absolutely.
And that same logic can be applied to anything. You're on an airplane. Do you really care what the pilot looks like? No, you care that they can fly the plane. Well, I think it should be the same here as it pertains to education. Like, every student should have the option to succeed, and they shouldn't be told otherwise, because in the United States, we do have equal rights.
Yeah, that sums it up perfectly.
Yeah.
I think it's important that that's definitely being acknowledged, especially when you're going into these schools, and these schools are designed for merit. You're being taught, okay, if you don't do that, you don't get a good grade. You're
Absolutely.
taught this your entire life, and then it's done away with
Sure.
as soon as you leave.
Right.
So I think it's very important. I think you set a perfect example for that.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I'm happy to lead the charge, certainly.
Absolutely, yeah. So I kind of want to shift again to school safety, because I know
Sure.
you list that, and that's something you're very big on.
It is.
How do you intend not to just protect us against the woke ideology,
Yeah.
but also physically so that all of our students are safe?
Absolutely. Well, great question. So I know that currently there has been conversations of the Duval County Public School Police Department being underfunded. So certainly taking a look at that and what budget things we can move around to make sure that our school resource officers or police officers, sorry, they don't like to be called resource officers, but our school police officers have the equipment, the funding necessary. We also want to help attract more school police officers because you want to make sure that you're recruiting the best and brightest. I will say I'll give a lot of credit to the current board. Since I graduated from the school district, a lot of the schools I've been doing my tour walkthroughs and stuff, they have ramped up security quite a bit.
That's very good.
Now that happened in the aftermath of the Parkland shooting, I believe. Yeah, because I graduated in 2018, and now Fletcher's got all those metal detectors, and the screening has definitely been ramped up. So I appreciate that, making sure that we have that, but also making sure that we have a strong police force that's funded and can respond to incidences at schools as they come. I think is going to be a huge part in ensuring that students have a very safe learning environment that's not going to be disrupted.
Absolutely. I think I completely agree with you on that. And I asked Michelle Petty when I interviewed her, and I asked, when it comes to the school police officers, do you want one who stays at the school constantly? Is that what your goal is, to have one that's always there, or like a rotation system? And I think that can go kind of both ways. It's important that we look at it. So I'm wondering what your perspective is on that.
Well, I certainly think having one there full-time gives parents peace of mind. I would say, again, I don't know that it's a one-size-fits-all approach. I think some schools are in neighborhoods that you could stand to have a full-time police officer, maybe others not so much. But I know that it would certainly give the parents peace of mind knowing that there's someone there full-time. And and proudly endorsed by the Fraternal Order of Police, I will work with our local law enforcement partners to make sure that we have police officers well funded at our schools, keeping our institutions, our teachers, and our students as safe as we possibly can.
That's awesome. I think that it's important that we do that, looking at all of the different schools that these terrible things are happening at. And hearing the statistics just the other night about the fights all over Duval, I didn't even know that those statistics were happening because my school doesn't have that issue. But it is a reality.
Where do you go?
I'm not going to state it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, fair. Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. I do go to an advanced placement school.
Okay, gotcha.
So we do have that. But I do think it's important shifting from that with the school police and seeing about the full-time thing when it comes to school funding. Right. Very, very important topic, especially on the topic of teacher pay. What do you think about that?
Repeat the question. I apologize.
You're good. So on the topic of teacher pay, what is your stance, like whether you want to raise it on the millage increase? What is your
Absolutely.
Your stance or
So
policy?
so the 1 mil extension, I tell you, the 1 mil was promised to voters as a resource that would be able to fund arts and athletics and teacher salaries. And for the past 4 years, we've had teachers in Duval County that have relied on this extra bonus structure between $5,000 to $8,000 a year to incentivize them to keep being good teachers here in our school district. I don't think it's fair. These teachers have had this, and they've earned it. I say they've earned it the last 4 years. I don't think it's fair to pull that rug out from underneath them. I also think that it could be very detrimental to the students that benefit from the arts and athletic funding. So I am generally supportive of the mill, but I will say I am a fiscal conservative, very interested in that budget, and I do believe that we should figure out a way to pay for our arts and athletics, our teacher salaries with the money that we have to operate. We should not be going to voters every 4 years, every couple of years, asking for an increase in taxes, asking for an extension in the millage. No, we should figure out how to pay for that with the money that we have. And it's something that every American has to practice. You don't spend beyond your means individually. So why should we be asking government to do that?
Absolutely. I mean, that sums it up perfectly. And I think that support is important because I think so many of our teachers are scared that that's going to be taken away from them.
Sure.
So I think that that's awesome. And we're going to take our first break, and then we'll come back.
Sounds good.
Thank you guys for supporting our show. If you want to get your very own Make America Pray Again hat or Let God Planned Parenthood shirt, go to themilesruncutterpodcast.com and you can get your very own. Let's get back to the episode.
And we're back.
Yeah, if you want to start off by saying we're back, that's all good. I was going to say it, but you can do it. Awesome. So yes, we're back. So I want to go back and we'll start on the topic of your opponents. So what do you have to say when it comes to your opponents who you're running up against?
Well, there are 3 candidates filed in School Board District 2. I'm one of the 3, and they're running their races. I'm running mine. You know, I'm not really focused on who else is in the race. I know my heart. I know why I'm in this. My mom's a teacher. I'm a proud product of the Duval County Public School District. And I want to see our schools, our public schools in Duval County, be as successful as they can be. I think that I bring a unique perspective, a fresh perspective to the political scene here. And this shouldn't be political. Some of my opponents are trying to make this race political, but for me, it's truly about ensuring that our teachers are supported, that our students are supported, and our parents have choice.
That's what's important. It's not about politics. It's about students.
Yeah,
and that's what's
100%.
being so much teachers, students, and staff. That's what's being ignored.
100%.
So I'm glad that that's being addressed. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
So going from that, I want to clarify, where do you stand on the political spectrum?
I'm conservative. I'm very conservative. I match the district. District 2 is the most conservative school board district in Duval County. April Carney won handedly when she ran 4 years ago. I'm proud that she's endorsing me in this race. And I'm from here, molded here in south side of Jacksonville, Jax Beaches. So I'm God willing, I'm elected. I'm going to represent the district well.
That's good. That's good. So when it comes to representing the district, we have April Carney, of course, and she's a conservative. So let's talk about some of your other endorsements. Is she the only one? I assume not.
She's the only one that we've released so far.
But
no, she's certainly not the only one. I do have the endorsement of the Duval County Legislative Delegation, most of the City Council members, the Fraternal Order of Police, and most of the Duval County School Board members as well. So I've been around a while. I've worked with a lot of these folks on different policy things before. And I think that they look at me and they know my heart and they know that I'll do a good job.
That's good, and that's a great example showing that you're able to do a good job. The people who are endorsing you have known you. They know what you're able to do.
Absolutely.
So I think that means a lot. That really does.
I'm very grateful for them. I tell you, since I launched, since I decided to run for this office, the overwhelming majority of the people have been very supportive. So I'm very grateful. I couldn't do it without them, and I look forward to serving them.
So yeah, we were we were advocating for them the other day, going door to door, handing out flyers and such,
absolutely.
and there was so much support. It was really amazing just to see people getting behind not only Mr. Donovan Bradley, but also every other student in the county. It wasn't about politics, it was about people. I think that meant a lot.
Well, and people love that. Like that's my most favorite part of this process, this arena, is going out and talking to people. You got to talk to people. You want to run for office, you want to get elected, you have to go meet people where they are. You got to figure out what issues they care about, what matters most to them, and then you got to deliver. And so we're certainly doing that. Every weekend since I've launched, I've been out knocking doors, been meeting people where they are, having these public forums. I think this is really important because people really get to hear the candidate, their heart, and what issues are important to them, and what they're going to do, what they're promising to do if they're elected. So I love it, and I'm very grateful. I think the voters love it just as much as me, which is always great.
That's very important, yeah. But I think you just said something wrong there because you did miss one weekend instead of going door to door. Would you like to say a little bit about that?
I did. Yep, you are certainly right. So April 25th, my lovely now wife and I got married here in Jacksonville Beach. So we got married at St. Paul's. We had our reception in Hanna Park, and it was really amazing. One day I'll tell you the story how we met. I don't want to bore the audience, but it was really amazing to just see so many people that we grew up with, so many people that are in our circle now that showed up for us and were there. It was really a special sacrament that we got to complete, and then of course just a big party celebratory. But it also kind of served as like a campaign kickoff, if you will. So it was it was great. But yeah, we got married the April 25th, and then Monday, what was it, the 27th? We were back to work. So happy to do it.
Busy.
That's right.
That's good. So I heard after the campaign is finished, or after the election, you intend to go on your honeymoon.
We do, yes. We're gonna go sometime between November and probably January, I believe. But yeah, we want to go see the holy cities. We're gonna go to the Vatican and check that out. Never been to Europe. She has. She says it's great. So we'll see. Not as good as America, but we'll
not as good as Duval.
Yeah,
right?
Not as good as Jacksonville. but we'll definitely go check it out, and I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a special experience. Yeah.
So on the topic of like the holy cities and such, tell me about your faith.
Well, I am a Christian. I'm a Catholic, so I was raised Catholic. It's really important to me. I went through some challenges as a child. My parents were divorced. I was the oldest of three, as I mentioned earlier, and I always relied on my faith. That was one thing that was constant for me. Like no matter what we were going through at the time, no matter what our worldly circumstance was, I knew that every Sunday you're going to church, receive the Eucharist, and pray, and work hard. That the opportunities for me were endless, and
Absolutely.
So far, God's been a shining light in my life, and I'm so grateful that I found the person He made for me, because now we're building an amazing life together.
That's amazing, especially to see young families coming up here in Jacksonville.
Oh, it's so important, man. It's so important. You won't be far behind. You certainly won't be far behind.
I won't be far behind. I'll run for school board. I'll get married right after, right? It'll be great.
Oh, absolutely, man. No, it is. I cannot stress that enough. Like, the nuclear family is so important. When you have a father in the home that is there present, you are so much further ahead in life than you are. You want to talk about disadvantaged. Well, the children that grow up, divorced parents, families not together, that is a true disadvantage. Really, I think the most disadvantage that you can have in I think American society today. So I'm a huge advocate for the nuclear family. I'm a huge advocate for get married, find the person you're supposed to be with, have kids, and create something special.
That's good.
But always keep faith at the forefront of that.
That's exactly right. So when it comes to faith, what is your stance on faith in the classroom?
Well, I would love it, obviously. Like I would certainly love that. But I do believe that you get into some First Amendment violations there, trying to fully bring prayer into school. I do support prayer before the school board meetings, which I know some folks have not liked. But you know what? That's okay, because every court in the United States has upheld legislative prayer before school board meetings as constitutional. And if I'm elected, that's certainly something that we're going to continue.
Absolutely, that's amazing.
Absolutely.
So can you kind of elaborate on why prayer before the school board meetings is allowed? Because I know you mentioned the courts, but before that and like other boards as well, why is that allowed?
Well, I've heard the argument that you cannot have legislative prayer before a school board meeting because a school board meeting is a school event, which is not entirely true. Because a school board is a legislative body elected by the constituents of Duval County, just as the city council is, just as the state house is, just as Congress is, and they are entitled to have legislative prayer before their meetings. So just because it's a school board does not mean it is a school event. And that has been upheld by the highest court in the land, this U.S. Supreme Court, just recently. So that's something that it's whether or not you are going to pray before a school board meeting and who's doing that prayer is totally up to the discretion of the school board chair, just as it is the city council president or the speaker of the house. And that is a great American tradition that I don't think is going to be changed. And if I'm elected, it's certainly going to continue.
It's awesome. I'm glad that we're keeping that tradition, making sure that faith is at the forefront.
You have to have it. You have to have it.
Especially at our school board meetings when you go up there. Man, I'll tell you, it is a show. If you guys want a free comedy show, go to public comment at city council or the school board meetings. It is the funniest thing you will ever see. I love it.
Well, we certainly love all of our neighbors. I certainly don't want to be divisive, but they're entertaining for sure.
Oh yeah. So there is a lot of backlash there, especially like you'll go up there and you'll hear April Carney out of nowhere. They'll just throw shots at her for nothing, and it's very degrading. I think it's important that faith is still at the forefront, saying that at the end of the day, we're going to do what's best, and we're going to glorify the Lord while doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Yeah, you definitely have people that throw political cheap shots. That comes with the territory of being a public official. April's done a great job. She doesn't let that bother her. I heard a rumor that she was chased out of the school board. Say, I promise you, if April wanted to run for re-election, she'd walk into it. But she did her time and she did a great job, and now she's kind of passing the torch to the next generation.
Yeah.
I'm happy to step up and take the mantle. So, but yeah, she's done a great job, and my advice to you, I know you're an aspiring young person like myself, but you can't be discouraged. No matter what you do in life, there's going to be people that hate on you. There's going to be people who try to tear you down, and you just can't let that get to you. Use it as motivation to keep going.
Oh, absolutely.
I certainly do, man. I love it. Like, you want to have a debate? Let's have a debate. Let's have a conversation. I think that's important for public discourse. And if you want to step into this arena, you got to step up to the plate and be able to defend what you believe.
It's the foundation of our country.
That's right, 100%. Yeah, I mean, you can't have. To that point, I don't think it's important to have an echo chamber, right? You can't have one side that's in power all the time. The balance is good. That debate is healthy.
So with like Turning Point, for example, with our Club America chapters, we open up the conversation to everyone. Everyone's always welcome, and everyone's welcome to come have a conversation. So when it comes to the chapters, what is your stance on those in our schools?
Oh, I think it's a great idea. My wife actually, she used to work for Turning Point USA.
Really? I didn't know that.
She did. She worked for them for 2 years, and every time Charlie Kirk came to Florida, she was helping staff the events and everything. It's actually where we met.
Oh, wow, that's
yes,
awesome.
It is. That's where we met. So she's a big supporter of Turning Point. Obviously, we love them, and what happened to Charlie we're still living with the effects of that. But yeah, it's great, and anything I can do to help the students that want to start a chapter, I stress that want to start a chapter, students that want to come and promote pro-America values, we're going to do that, and I'm going to help you do it.
I think that is definitely an example of you stepping up to the plate, because April Carney, like, you're stepping in her place because she had to deal with a student over at Fletcher who had done something, gotten in trouble, got on the news, right?
Yes, sir.
And we both know this student very well.
I do.
Because all he wanted to do was open up the conversation, but she went to that meeting and she was like, I'm going to support you. Because nothing wrong was ever done here.
Yeah, 100%.
So I'm glad that we have your support for that. Because it's very important, especially for our chapters.
Absolutely, man. We're going to lead on that. I'd like to, in a perfect world, right? If you had a Club America chapter at every high school in Duval County, I think that's great. But you know what? It's totally up to the students. And that's the point of it. That's like what Charlie wanted. Like, these groups at the college level and the high school level are student run. The students have to have that passion, that fire. And if we have students like you that want to take the mantle and create these groups, we should have school board members that are willing to support, endorse, and help them, just as we would anybody else. You want to start a group to the left side of the political spectrum, that's totally fine. You should be able to do that, and I'll support their right to do it as well. But,
absolutely.
But yeah, we're certainly not going to be blocking Club America chapters under school board member Bradley.
That's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. That's a good sign.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now we have all those conversations all the time.
Sure.
We have the political conversations. I have 2 teachers, in fact. Yesterday, I argued with one of them for 2 hours.
Oh.
And we were arguing about, I think it was something political. I don't remember. But would you support those kind of conversations happening? Because I know that we kind of block out, they can't tell you who they voted for. They can't tell you their party affiliation. But I think some of the conversations I've had with these teachers are some of the most valuable that I've had in my entire life. So what's your stance on that?
What is my stance on just having political conversations in school in general?
Yes.
Well, I don't believe that a teacher and I haven't seen this lately. Obviously, I experienced some of it, but I don't believe that it is the teacher's job to be pushing her personal political views on students.
Absolutely.
And again, I haven't seen mass examples of that. I did have a couple teachers that tried. I just thinking back to 2016, I believe it was, the Trump-Clinton election. Like, I had a teacher. She was like, "I'm not going to tell you who he voted for, but I'm voting for a woman." Okay, well. you told me who you're voting for because there's only one woman in the race. So, just like things like that. I don't think that should be allowed.
Yeah.
However, to your second point, I do believe that it is very important to not run away from hard conversations. Politics, whether you like it or not, like it is a big part of our life in this country, and you should take part in that conversation.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'll be hard, but respect your opponent, your neighbor's viewpoint on things. And somewhere in the middle, you're going to find some sort of common ground. You have to.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what our Constitution, that's what our country was built on, is compromise. And so you can't run from those conversations. You certainly have to be able to navigate them gracefully, but with facts, and don't be intimidated, because I see people trying to do that, and that's not healthy.
Absolutely, totally. I think it's important that those conversations are happening, and I'm glad that we have support for that, not pushing an ideology, but keeping it out of what's actually being taught. And
right.
I'm sure you stand to say that we don't want it during actual coursework. That's not the objective of the school.
Right, yeah. I apologize if I wasn't
you're
making
good.
that
You're
clear.
good.
Yeah,
You
no,
didn't say that.
definitely. I mean, I don't think it can be a disruption to the learning environment for sure. But there's some free time that students have in between walking classes and lunch. Obviously, gym, which is where a lot of those conversations happen for me.
Yeah.
Because I, in high school, was very proud of my political beliefs and views at that time, just as much as I am now. So I think it's important to have those conversations, but yeah, ensure that it can't be disruptive. It can't be a distraction to the students that are just there, to learn and have a good educational experience.
So would you attack specific lessons or coursework that pushes a particular ideology? And I'll give an example.
Sure.
With AP Human Geography, we had a test, and you're not going to believe it, but the question was, how does abortion help increase the population?
How does abortion help increase the population? I don't know.
Yeah.
What was the answer?
I said
Yeah,
I
what was
didn't.
the
I
answer?
said it obviously doesn't.
Yeah.
I got it wrong.
Oh,
I have
thank
no
you.
idea how I got it wrong. But that teacher who assigned that test, it was very obvious. kind of
Sure.
what
Yeah. I
his
mean,
stance
who's
was on
asking
things.
the question like
Oh,
that,
yeah.
right? Like.
So would you be willing to, especially when it comes to lesson plans and coursework that promotes that, would you, like, not just that kind of specifically on abortion, but any kind of ideologies pushing a political agenda, would you be for reviewing that and getting rid of it?
Of course, definitely for reviewing it and seeing where the disconnect is, because I don't believe, from the left or from the right, we should not have an echo chamber, which is a lot of what academia is. Unfortunately, it shouldn't be, but it is more of a left-leaning echo chamber, and I think that we should open that up, to different perspectives, and certainly should not have curriculums or certain teachers that are pushing a certain ideology, because you want students, especially 17, 18-year-old students, to have an open mind as they enter this adult world. You don't want them to have a closed-off opinion, and that, I think, that contributes to the partisan or the polarization that we see in American politics today. So, sorry, long way to answer your question.
No, it's a good answer.
But
You got
yes,
it.
I certainly commit to looking at every curriculum-based thing that some would deem detrimental in that regard.
So I know that this can kind of be nuanced, but when it comes to disciplinary action for those teachers, how do you think that should be handled?
Well, I think that's a case-by-case basis as well. You definitely just, it can't not be addressed. So it just depends on the severity of it, but it's a case-by-case basis for sure.
Yeah. Now I know that question sounds can somebody come sue my teacher? But no, that's not what I was asking that for. But
lawsuits can be an option for sure. Removal could be an option, but it depends. It depends on what the circumstance is. Every incident's different.
Oh, absolutely.
Some are more extreme than others, but yeah, I don't think anything's off the table.
And it's important that that's acknowledged, that it isn't just a blanket response to an issue. It is a case-by-case basis. That is what is important, is being ignored.
Yeah.
And I think that it's great that you bring that up.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
So I know we kind of talked about this a little bit off screen, but disciplinary action for students? Because we do have so many, the amount of fights that happen a year is ridiculous. My friend actually just got in a fight, got in a lot of trouble. It wasn't a terrible fight, gladly, but I do want to ask, what is your stance when it comes to those fights in school and like using AI in the classroom or cheating on a test? Where are those like punishments? Where's your stance on disciplinary action?
Well, I've heard that a lot. Out there knocking doors. That's one of the top 3 issues that parents and taxpayers bring up. Is well, we want to ensure that our taxpayers are going to fund good, safe schools, and part of that is making sure that the student disciplinary action is top notch. I mean, you can't have students that are coming to school to be a distraction, to be a disruptance.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I know I lived that. I'm a proud public school kid, but I had some fights that I was in. Not proud of that.
Oh yeah.
But it happened, and there was certainly examples where I was a distraction. And I was disciplined for it. You had in-school suspension. They called my parents. They come take you home. So just ensuring that we have strong policies like that. But at the core of that, the parents need to be involved.
Absolutely.
If there is a constant, especially a repeat disruption from a certain student, immediately phone call home. Parents need to be involved, and I don't believe it is entirely the job of the school to do the parenting, but they definitely need to be abiding by the disciplinary policies that we set as a board. So absolutely.
Yeah, and I'll say, like, this podcast itself wouldn't exist if I hadn't been punished for something stupid that I did.
Sure.
So I can definitely credit not just my successes to punishment, but also the successes of others. And I think it's important that's being acknowledged for sure.
Well, they say everything happens for a reason, right?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's great.
That's awesome. I love that. And I know I kind of brought up AI. So what's your stance on AI in the classroom? Like, not just being taught, but also being used by students.
Absolutely.
As 2 separate issues.
Well, I think AI is still developing. There's still a lot that we're learning. I mean, I see it with my job as I'm a policy analyst. That's my day job, and I'm using AI more and more to do research on things. And you see that kind of all over the place. Every industry, especially education at the higher institution level, is really pushing AI. So I don't know that we're at the stage yet where we should implement policies to where teachers should be teaching that. I think that's probably coming. It's more something that's handled at the state level, but that's coming. I think it depends on what the students in the class are using AI for, right?
Yeah.
If it's to cheat on a test, no, then that probably shouldn't be. But AI could be used for good. It has to be regulated.
Totally.
And so we'll certainly be looking at that. But it's new. It's coming on to us quick. I think that there's going to be more conversations that we have surrounding AI and how that plays into the education environment and just overall, like, how we set policy, navigating AI, and moving forward in the state.
So it's something very new, is what you're saying. That it's not something that you can just say, no AI, yes AI. It's something that we need to look into.
And I only say that because, like, it can be good. Like, AI it's a good tool.
Totally.
It should not be a replacement for, like, human thought, which is concerning because, I mean, our generation specifically, Gen Z, like, you see a lot of examples where it could easily replace human thought. And I think we need to pump the brakes a little bit and just, remember that we are human beings and we can't rely solely on artificial intelligence to think for us. But yeah, I do think that it could be used for good. It just, it's still new, and we're still kind of seeing where all AI can take us as a society.
So do you think that, for lack of better words, anti-AI usage being pushed in the classroom would be more beneficial? And I say that to teach students not to replace critical thinking with it. Would you?
I see what
how
you're
do you
saying.
think that would happen?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly, we certainly cannot have it replace student thought. And I know ChatGPT is probably the biggest one that they kind of use for everything. We could look at limiting that in certain regards for sure. Yeah.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that that's at least being addressed, especially on our school board level.
Yeah,
that's something that we need to bring back as critical thinking, because it's been far too long ignored.
Critical thinking and cursive writing is another one. The
I'm
state
trying to
finally
learn
got that
cursive
done.
writing
Yeah.
right now. I'm telling you.
I tell you,
my handwriting is so bad. Oh man.
I tell you, that was a real disservice to students. I mean, I wish my grandparents, they all write in cursive. You'll get the birthday cards and stuff. It's like, oh, I gotta decipher that. But no, it's good. The state just this year passed cursive writing. It's coming back finally.
Awesome.
And you know, I'll never forget. I was in 3rd grade, and my teacher, she came to me. It was post Christmas break, and she was like, "Well, guys, the state is no longer requiring us to teach cursive writing, but I want to make sure that everybody in this class knows how to write their name at least. So I know how to write my name, and I'm starting. I had self-taught myself how to read it, but." Yeah, it's crazy. You know, you can't read cursive. You can't read the founding documents of the U.S. Constitution, the Bill of Rights.
I didn't even
the
think of
preamble,
that.
all
Wow,
of it wrote
yeah.
in cursive, and it's like, was that by design? I don't know, but
That
you know.
does say a lot, though. Wow. Actually, I didn't even think of it from that perspective.
But yeah,
all of our founding documents, you're right, are
yeah,
for
they're
the
written
most
in
part
cursive.
written in cursive.
Yeah.
Wow.
Actually, I read some of them. Yeah, I read most of them, and
Oh yeah,
yeah,
well, in English.
it's like
The
it's like
English normal.
having to decipher. You know, you got to go.
Yeah.
So it's a challenge, but I'm glad that they're bringing that back for sure.
That's awesome. So now, of course, kind of shifting from the topic of AI, but not really.
Sure. Yeah.
I spoke at the school board recently about AI meta glasses with the cameras on them. Now, it has the AI feature. You're able to sit there on a test and click, and cheat on the test. But my main concern is about other students or teachers getting photos taken or taking photos of other people while in the classroom. Would you stand to get AI meta glasses or any hidden wear that's able to take discrete photos of other people?
Yeah, I don't think that's appropriate. I don't think that's appropriate at all. I mean, you have an expectation of privacy in the classroom too.
Oh, yeah.
And so if you're just going around blanket recording people and who knows what you're doing with that footage, I don't think that should be allowed. Unless, of course, you know, you have parents of the other students in the class that say, yeah, I'm okay with my kid being filmed or whatever. It also might be uncomfortable for the teacher too.
Totally.
Not that they should have anything to hide. Our teachers are great, but yeah, I don't know that that's appropriate. Is to have
Absolutely.
People, yeah, so.
I mean, from my experience, I've had students, because I do the turning point thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not the most liked, but I've had so many.
Why is that? No, I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
I don't know. It's oblivious to me. But I'll have so many photos taken of me, and people will send, they'll be like, hey, this person just took a photo of you. And the thing is, if that's happening to me,
Sure.
I know that there's other students taking photos of other students without their permission and not using it for the best things. I'm completely fine with me. I do not care about that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to little girls getting photos taken of them, that's terrible.
It's inappropriate. Yeah, there's no place for that. Definitely not. And if enacting different policies or regulations at the school board level is something we need to crack down on that, happy to support and sponsor that legislation.
That's
We'll get
awesome.
it through. Yeah, definitely.
Well, I appreciate it, and I appreciate the conversation. It was nice speaking with you.
Is that it? Absolutely,
That is
man.
it, yeah.
I
Unless there's
appreciate
anything else you'd like to speak about.
Well, I just say, I really appreciate forums like this. I think it's good. I'll kind of reiterate, the public needs to know what you believe, why you believe, and what you're going to do if you're given the chance to represent them. So I'm excited to do it. Again, Donovan Bradley, Duval County School Board District 2. Don't forget, August 18th is Election Day. I'm going to need your vote, and yeah, I look forward to earning it. So thank you so much, Miles.
Thank you. It was
Appreciate
nice
man.
speaking with
yes,
you.
Sir.
I
You as well.
appreciate it.